Hello again. Alright, we're going to use this photograph here of Sprague Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park to discuss just a little bit more with layers, and in particular layer opacity. Before we get started with that though, let's just show you we can adjust the size of these thumbnails over here. If we right click anywhere in this layers palette, we'll get some options. We'll click on medium. Notice this is getting bigger. We can right click again and go to large. Your call on how you want to do this. I have found that the small one allows me to see more at a time and see more of what's written in here, so I just leave mine on small. Your choice. Okay, so we're going to talk about layer opacity. Let's go ahead and bring up a layer, and we'll just call one up right here, and we'll show you how we might utilize layer opacity and or fill for our uses. Right now we're going to talk about opacity. In the next lesson we'll talk about fill. There's some very subtle differences between them, and they're best demonstrated than trying to explain, so we'll do that the next time. So we have this empty layer here. We can do something on it, and what might we like to do to this particular image? Well, it would be nice if we could just tone this sky down a little bit. And we saw before that we can use a gradient filter to help tone things down. Again, gradient filters are something I no longer use in Photoshop. I use Adobe Camera Raw to apply all gradient filters. The graduated filters in Adobe Camera Raw is a far more powerful, useful, manageable tool. But we're going to show you how layer opacity works using the graduated filter here. So let's go ahead and click on it. We've pulled up the graduated filter. We're using black right now because we're trying to bring this area here down. We can set the opacity with the slider up here. Notice it changes here, or we can click on opacity and run it to the right or left. Actually click on the words opacity, run it to the right or left. Let's just run it a little strong. We can't control exactly how much we're applying at this time because we don't know how much we want. Well, here's where this layer opacity is going to come in handy. So let's apply a little bit, click outside the image and bring it in nice and gentle like this. It still seems a little heavy. Hard to fine tune that. And guess, what should I choose up here for opacity? Well, you don't really have to. You can come down here and affect the opacity of the layer. We're going to click. We could grab the slider. I prefer just to click on the word opacity, hold down, and run it to the left to bring it back. So we can now adjust real time and see exactly what we like, and we can fine tune it very nicely this way. Alright, perhaps we like that. We could toggle that particular layer on and off. Let's just say we like that. Actually, I don't. It's a little too strong still. Let's back it out a little bit more. It probably looks a little more realistic. So we've applied one where we're darkening this part of the sky a little bit. Let's go ahead and click on create a new layer. Maybe we want to take this cool blue color down here and warm it up a little bit. How might we accomplish this? Well, if we click over here, we get our color picker, run it up to a warm color. Let's just say that's the warm color we want to start with. We click OK. Now that color is the color that's going to be used. So if we still have our gradient tool up, notice it's yellow up here. Click here, drag for the feathering area, let's say, to about right here. And it is too much yellow. Well, we can simply adjust the opacity to bring that back into line with what we exactly want. So here's how opacity works. Really, really nice, really easy. Didn't actually have very much here. We can toggle it on and off. Let's pretend we like that. Actually, take it back a little bit more. We could have put these all on one layer. That would have been fine too. So that's how layer opacity works. Fill. Let's run the opacity back up here real fast. Fill, again, hover over it. You can run it left, and notice you can have what appears to be the very same effect. And we'll sort that up for you in the next lesson. We could come back over here to our photograph of the Montana barns out on the plains of Montana. And we could say, you know, I wouldn't mind blending a little color back in to this image? Well, if we would select in the area where we were going to black and white and change the opacity from 100 back to some lower number, we would slowly introduce some of the color things that are going on below here. So let's just take this back and have our background and the hue and saturation adjustment layers come through just a little bit. We can also go to our hue and saturation layer and say, you know, I really didn't want that strong of an effect, and we can back it off too. So again, this is just a creative way where you can blend layers together. All right, see you next time.